It happened on a rainy night as Uche was returning from the hospital where he interned. His bus skidded off the road and plunged into a ravine. The news reached Amasiri like a thunderclap, leaving the village in mourning. Adaora, who had always been closest to Uche, was inconsolable. How can someone who lived so well, so selflessly, be taken from us? She cried. What was the point of his goodness if his life was so short? The village of Amasiri had known sorrow before, but Uche's death struck differently. He had been the pride of the Okeke family. Born into humble beginnings, he possessed a rare combination of intelligence, kindness, and determination. While many young men in Amasiri spent their days idling at the palm wine joints, Uche was always busy, tutoring children, helping elders with their chores, or tending to the family's small farm. He's like a candle in the dark, the villagers would say, a beacon of hope for his family and our community. But Uche had dreams that reached beyond Amasiri. He often spoke of becoming a doctor, of healing the sick and bringing modern medicine to their remote village. Despite their poverty, he worked tirelessly, saving every kobo from odd jobs to fund his education. Do not despise humble beginnings, he once told Adaora, quoting a proverb their late father had often recited. Even the iroko tree starts as a tiny seed. When Uche was accepted into the university in Enugu, the entire village celebrated. He left with nothing but a small suitcase and a heart full of hope. He worked hard, excelling in his studies and earning the respect of his lecturers. During holidays, he returned to Amasiri, not to rest, but to serve. He organized free health clinics, educated villagers on hygiene, and inspired the youth to pursue education. He is a light in this world, Mama Ejima once said, but even the brightest candles burn out. And so it was that Uche's light was extinguished far too soon. On an evening heavy with grief, Adaora found herself kneeling before Mama Ejima under the ancient iroko tree. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she sought answers. Mama, Adaora began, her voice trembling, why does life feel so unfair? My brother, Uche, was the best of us. He was kind, hardworking, and full of dreams. Yet, he is gone, taken too soon. Why does fate spare the wicked and take the good? Mama Ejima stopped weaving and looked at Adaora with eyes that had seen decades of joy and pain. She placed a comforting hand on Adaora's shoulder and said, My child, it is not how long a tree stands that matters, but the shade it provides while it stands. She paused, letting her words sink in, before continuing, let me tell you a story, one that my own grandmother told me. Years ago, in a village not far from Amasiri, there lived a farmer named Nduka. He was a simple man, known for his honesty and generosity. Though his farm was small, he shared its produce with anyone in need. He often said, a hand that gives is never empty. One year, a severe drought gripped the land. Crops withered, rivers dried up, and hunger stalked the village. Nduka, however, found a way to irrigate his farm using water from a hidden spring he had discovered years earlier. His farm flourished, and instead of hoarding his harvest, he distributed it freely to his starving neighbors. Why do you give so much? One villager asked. "You might not have enough for yourself." Nduka smiled and replied, "What use is abundance if it cannot be shared? A good name is better than gold." But just as the rains returned and the village began to recover, Nduka fell ill. The sickness was swift and merciless, and within weeks, he was gone. The villagers mourned deeply, but they also honored his memory by planting a community orchard, each tree a testament to Nduka's selflessness. Years later, those trees bore fruit that fed generations, and Nduka's name was spoken with reverence. His life, though short, left a legacy that endured. Adaora listened intently, the weight of Mama Ejima's words settling over her like a comforting blanket. "Are you saying Uche's legacy is like Nduka's orchard?" she asked. Mama Ejima nodded. "Yes, my child. Uche's deeds, his kindness, and his sacrifices are seeds he planted in the hearts of those he touched. Those seeds will grow and bear fruit long after his body has returned to the earth." Inspired by Mama Ejima's wisdom, Adaora decided to honor her brother's memory by continuing his work. She rallied the village to build a health center, using the small savings Uche had left behind as a foundation. When funds ran low, she reached out to NGOs and government officials, leveraging every connection she could find. It wasn't easy. There were days when progress seemed impossible, when bureaucracy and lack of resources threatened to derail the project. But Adaora pressed on, fueled by her brother's example and the knowledge that she was walking in his footsteps. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, she would remind herself whenever despair crept in. After 2 years of relentless effort, the health center was completed. It was a modest building, but it was equipped with essential supplies and staffed by young doctors inspired by Uche's story. The villagers named it the Uche Okeke Memorial Clinic. On the day of the clinic's inauguration, Adaora stood before the crowd, her heart swelling with a mixture of pride and sorrow. She spoke of Uche's life, his dreams, and the lessons he had taught them all. "My brother's life was like a shooting star," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "It blazed brightly across the sky for a brief moment, but its light remains, guiding us even in the darkest nights." As the years passed, the clinic became a beacon of hope for Amasiri and neighboring villages. Children were vaccinated, mothers received safe deliveries, and illnesses that once claimed lives were treated with care. Uche's legacy lived on, not just in the bricks and mortar of the clinic, but in the lives it saved. Adaora, too, found healing in her work. She realized that while grief never truly disappears, it can be transformed into something meaningful. Her brother's life, though short, had been a gift, not just to her, but to the entire community. One evening, as Adaora sat under the iroko tree with Mama Ejima, she said, "You were right, Mama. It is not how long we live, but how well we live that matters. Uche may be gone, but he left footprints in the sands of time." Mama Ejima smiled, her eyes twinkling with pride. "Yes, my child. And those footprints will guide others long after we are all gone." The story of Uche Okeke is a legendary one, reminding everyone that a life well lived, no matter how brief, can echo through eternity.